साद्वैतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Krishna. So please accept my humble obeisances. So I would like to welcome all the devotees who are present here for today's session. Today's ninth session of the course Life and Teachings of Four Vaisnava Acharyas. And in the prior sessions, we have completed the life and teachings of three Vaishnava Acharyas, that they are Vishnu Swami, then Nimbarka Swami, and also Ramananda Swami. Okay. And in today's class, we will be starting to discuss about the life or the biography of Sri Madhvacharya, in whose disciplic succession we also come. So the main guru or the main presiding deity of this sampradaya is Lord Brahma himself. And Madhvacharya, he received the knowledge in the disciplic succession. So whose original presiding deity or original preceptor of the knowledge was Lord Brahma himself. And in this disciplic succession, Sri Madhvacharya received the knowledge. Okay. So today we will be covering mainly his biography, and we'll also be talking about his disciplic succession. Okay. Then his pastimes, his dealings with different personalities in South India, and how he used to refute the oppositions of Mayavadis, of Buddhists, and many other different Apasampradayas. Then we will be discussing the Madhva's meeting with Vyasadeva and Shankaracharya. And we will be discussing his literary contributions. And then we will just conclude. So these are the contents for today's class. So once upon a time, there was a high mountain named Vimanagiri. And this mountain was situated on the bank of Papanashini River, which flows 7 miles southeast of Udupi Kshetra. Udupi Kshetra is a city in Karnataka. And this is the place where Lord Parshuram shattered the mountain and created 4 kundas. So this is the place where he shattered the Vimanagiri mountain, and he also created 4 kundas. Okay, so there are Dhanur Tirtha, Dharma Tirtha, and many other. Totally 4 kundas Parshurama made. So large temple of Yogamaya at the foot of Vimanagiri hill, and the deity installed by Parshuram. Okay. So there is a big temple of Yogamaya Devi there near the Vimanagiri hill, and the deities are also installed by Parshuram himself. Okay. The area around Dhanush Tirtha, so this is one of the kundas which was created by Lord Parshurama. A holy tirtha established by Parshurama is called Padaka Kshetra. So near the Dhanush Tirtha itself, the area, there only there is an area which is called Pajaka Kshetra. And there, in Pajaka Kshetra, there lived a poor Brahmana who belonged to the Madhya Geha family. Once, the local king, the king of that province, King Ram Bhoja, He brought 120 Brahmanas that were his relatives from the province of Achitra to Parshurama Kshetra. So King Ramabhoja, he brought 120 Brahmanas from the place Achitra, there in Karnataka. And among those Brahmanas, the one who constructed his residence in the middle of them all was called Madhyageha. So what used to happen that in Parshurama Kshetra, many 120 Brahmanas, they came and they made their residence in different places. And according to some geographical location, those Brahmanas who constructed their houses in the middle of the in the middle of the whole community of Brahmanas, those Brahmanas used to be called as Madhya Geha. Madhya means middle and Geha means houses. So those houses which are situated in the middle of the community. And there only the Brahmanas who lived there, they used to be denoted by Madhya Geha Brahmanas. So that poor Brahmana's name was Narayana Bhatta. He was a Madhya Geha Brahmana. And Narayana Bhatta's another name was Madhya Geha Bhatta also. Now, what is the meaning of this word Pajaka Kshetra? So, Pajaka, Pati iti pa na jayate iti aja, paschaso ajascheti pajaha, pajatkam yasmin tat pajakam. So, the place where the unborn Lord Vishnu Parshurama created holy tirthas. So, in totally, he shattered the Vimanagiri hill and he created 4 kundas, including Dhanush Tirtha, is known as Pajaka Kshetra. And it is located on the bank of Papanashini. So, this is the meaning of Pajaka. Okay. There is so much of grammatical meanings through which that word Pajaka is being like, it has come, and which indicates that but the one which is located on the Papanashini river and which is created by the unborn, na jayate iti aja. Aja. So Lord Vishnu Parshurama is Lord himself and is Aja. But he created that place. He created that Dhanush Tirtha Kunda, and that area is called, near area is that is called Pajaka Kshetra. So Narayana Bhatta, who was Madhya Geha Bhatta, was a Madhya Geha Brahmana living in the middle. He constructed his house in the middle of whole of the Brahmana community. He lived with his wife Vedavati, and he worshipped his family deity of Lord Vishnu, who lies on the bed of Shesha. Eventually, they conceived 2 children. Vedavati gave birth to 2 sons, and both of them died prematurely. So then they performed some austerities in order to please Lord Vishnu, and they performed austerities for 12 years. What was the austerity? They used to only take milk. They were subsisting only on the milk for the whole day. And by getting pleased by the austerity, Lord Vishnu became very inclined to reward them. And as the mercy, by being pleased with them, Lord Vishnu, he sent an empowered personality, and at that time only, to remove the fog of Buddhism from Bharatavarsha and to infuse life into almost dead conditioned souls. Vayu decided to appear in the world by the will of Lord Vishnu. So this is very common. Yada yada hi dharmasya ग्लानिर् भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम धर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजामि. So whenever there is dharma glani, then Lord either he himself comes or he sends his empowered person. So in the same way, when that time there was so much of Buddhism prevalent and so much of Mayavada prevalent, so to remove that fog, to remove that Siddhanta from the minds of people, Lord Vishnu, he empowered a personality who was the another form of expansion of Vayu or the wind god, and he appeared in the womb of Vedavati as a result of the austerities done for the 12 years. So wind god, he appeared in different forms in different yugas. Vayudeva, in order to contribute, in order to teach the message of Godhead in different yugas, he comes in different incarnations, in different forms. For example, in Treta Yuga, Hanuman came, and Hanuman helped in performing the he helped in Rama's mission in order to kill Ravana, and he did so much of seva. In Dwapar Yuga, Vayudev came in the form of Bhimasena, and Bhimasena also he followed the rules and the instructions given in the Vedas, and in that way he took the side of Yudhishthira or the Dharmaraja. So he was on the side of Dharma or the injunctions given in the Vedic scriptures, not on the side of Adharma. And in Kali Yuga, Vayudev has come as Madhvacharya. So Sri Narayan Bhatt named his son Vasudeva. Now there is a difference of opinions regarding the time of Vasudeva's appearance. So Sri Rishikesha Tirtha, who is one of the disciples of Madhvacharya, he has ascertained from Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, there are some shlokas wherein Madhvacharya himself states about his appearance that Bhishma told to other brothers, it's not Bhishma actually, it should be Bhima only. Bhim told to other brothers that he would appear after 4,000 years after the beginning of the Kali Yuga. Okay. So Bhim told to other brothers that he will appear when Kali Yuga will start. So after 4,000 years, he will appear. And that is 4339 Kali era and 690 years ago, or 5029 Kali era. So some exact calculation is given by Rishikesha Tirtha. So Sri Rishikesha Tirtha, he is telling that 4339 Kali era. So that time only Sri Madhvacharya appeared. And there is some difference of opinion. Some people other also tell that actually Madhvacharya appeared 5029 Kali era. Now question can come, when did Kali Yuga start actually? So Kali Yuga started when Yudhishthira was enthroned after Bhima defeated Duryodhana in duel with clubs. So when there was dual fight between Bhimsena and Duryodhana, and then after Duryodhana was defeated and Yudhishthira was enthroned as the king, so that time only Kali Yuga started. So that time Kali Yuga started. And in that way, in that calculation, we can decipher that 4339. We can try to calculate that 4339 Kali era, Sri Madhvacharya came. Now he appeared at noon on a Wednesday on 10th day in Shukla Paksha in Ashwin month in 1238 AD. Okay. So according to the Christian calendar, we can understand it is 1238 AD, which is 13th century. So he came in 13th century and on the Dashami of Shukla Paksha in Ashwin month. Okay, and that was Wednesday. Then eventually the parents they sent Madhvacharya to Gurukula for primary education of his child. So after completing his primary education, he went to the Gurukula and he learned all the different shastras, all the primary education he received from his guru. And at the age of 8, he received the sacred thread. And he approached a Brahmana, then later on for higher education. He approached a Brahmana who resided at Danda Tirtha, hoping to study Vedas. So this Danda Tirtha is also there nearby only. This place is nearby where they were staying. So Madhvacharya, he approached a Brahmana in order to learn the Vedas. Okay. So at the age of 8, he received Upanayana Samskar. He received the thread because without a thread we cannot learn the Vedas. Okay, we cannot chant the Vedic mantras. In order to do that, we need to have Upanayana Samskara. Then Guru will teach. So after receiving sacred thread, he started learning the Vedas. Then what used to happen that he became eventually when he was there in Gurukul and he was learning the Vedas, then he was very much distracted. Guru was thinking that he's very much becoming distracted. He's uselessly wasting his time in playing with other friends, and he was not attentive in his study. That's what Guru was thinking. Then one day, the teacher he chastised Vasudeva. Why are you neglecting studies? Why are you always wasting time? And why every day I see you playing only and not studying Vedas? Then, then in response, the Guru told, "Okay, if you know the teaching, if you have learnt everything, then tell me this. Then tell me what I have taught until now, and tell me the meaning of this mantra, this Vedic mantra." So Madhvacharya, Vasudeva, immediately started explaining all of the meanings of the mantras and whatever the Guru taught in such a less time. Even the other students were dumbstruck at how Madhvacharya was so sharp-minded that he grasped all of the meanings of Vedic literature in so less time. And he was discussing on many non-stop. He was discussing on many different topics from the Vedas. And the Guru was very pleased with him. And he understood that this boy will eventually, his understanding is so good, he has actually learned the purport of all the Vedas. And thus he is capable to preach. So thus his education, his higher education is complete. So Vasudeva, he returned to his home and he asked his father, "Father, I have finished my study and so I will preach the Vaisnava conclusions." He expressed his desire to preach the Vaishnava conclusion. And Narayana Bhatta, his father, or Madhyageha Bhatta, he replied, sarcastically he replied, that if an ordinary boy like you can refute Mayavad, then it be also possible for this stick in your hand to transform into a huge tree. So he's telling that if you are thinking that you are such an ordinary boy, and after learning Vedas, you think that you can defeat such a big Mayavadi scholars, so then definitely it would be possible for the stick which you have in your hand to be converted, to be transformed into a huge tree. So sarcastically is telling that it is not at all possible that that the rod which you are holding, it cannot be transformed into a huge tree. So how come you, like ordinary boy, can refute such a great Mayavadi sannyasis? That's what his intention was to say. Then Vasudev immediately told, with so much of uncommon enthusiasm, that there is nothing impossible for the Lord. If Lord desires, if there is mercy of the Lord, then even the stick which I am holding in my hand, if I put in the ground, then this will also be converted into a huge tree. So Vasudeva, what did he do? He went outside, he took that stick and he put inside, he stuck in the ground. And immediately, within a few seconds, it immediately grew into a giant banyan tree, which is still there in Pajaka Kshetra. The image which I have showed herein, that is the original image. This was the banyan tree, which Madhvacharya himself planted. And in order to show he did not undermine the mercy of the Supreme Lord. He had so much faith and he had so much steadiness, enthusiasm to preach Vaishnavism. He told everything is possible by the Lord. And that's why even you think that I'm an ordinary man, but by the mercy of the Lord, I can also preach and I can refute all the Mayavadi sannyasis. Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So then what happened? That Narayan Bhatt understood that eventually this boy will leave the house and he will go and take sannyasa and he will preach. But I want him to expand my, expand my progeny or expand his family tradition, family lineage. So then Narayan Bhatta, he understood. And Narayan Bhatta wanted his son to get married and thus kept him at home. So eventually Vasudev understood that what was the parents' intention. And that's why without taking permission, without waiting for anyone's permission, he immediately left the house and he accepted sannyasa order from Sri Achyuta Preksha of Sri Raja Pithapur at the age of 12. So you understand? At the age of 8, he accepted the sacred thread, and in 4 years, he learned all of the Vedas and he took sannyasa from Sri Achyuta Preksha. So Achyuta Preksha was his sannyasa guru. Usually, no one gives sannyasa at a very less age. But Madhvacharya was an uncommon personality. He was not like another human being, but he was empowered personality. He was incarnation of Vayudev. Okay. So, yeah, we'll get into the details about the story, what happened further after taking sannyasa, what did he do. But before that, it's just some basic outline of his disciplic succession. So, according to the opinion of some, definitely there are some sometimes difference of opinion. They tell that Lord Narayana, in the form of Hamsa avatar, he initiated four-headed Brahma into the worship of Vishnu. And Brahma gave that knowledge to the Kumaras. Kumaras gave that knowledge to Durvasa. And Durvasa gave that knowledge to Paratirtha. And Paratirtha gave that knowledge to Satyapragya. And Satyapragya gave that knowledge to Pragyatirtha. Yes. And Narayana Pandita, a disciple of Sri Madhva, he writes in his book Mani Manjari. He has written about the uh, about the power of Pragya Tirtha. Shankaracharya, when he came in this material world, so that time he told to his disciples before leaving that if Pragya Tirtha, if he teaches Dvaita Vedanta, then our Kevala Dvaitavad is almost, it will be like over. Because Pragya Tirtha, through his philosophy, Pragya Tirtha we should not confuse with Madhvacharya. He is the guru of his guru. Okay, so Pragya Tirtha is the guru of Madhvacharya also. Is the guru of Madhvacharya's guru. And he writes that Shankaracharya tells his disciple that if you want to sustain the Kevala Advaita philosophy, then definitely you have to convert Pragya Tirtha into Mayavad. And you have to convert, forcefully you have to convert him into Mayavad, and you have to make him leave all of the rules and regulations which he used to follow, and all these philosophical conclusions he has written in the form of books, or the matha he has established, the place where he lives, everything you destroy and you burn all the manuscripts he has written, which explains the Dvaita Vedanta. And you forcefully you convert. And then only our Kevala Dvaita is in a good position. Otherwise, Mayavad will eventually become lost. So that's what Shankaracharya cautioned his disciples from the Pragya Tirtha. And in that way, the Kevala Advaitavadis, they forcefully tried their best to convert Pragya Tirtha to accept their philosophy. And Pragya Tirtha's disciple was Achyuta Preksha, who also externally imitated the behavior for future. He also was asked to imitate, but internally there was not even an inch. He was not even an inch, not at all. He was like, his faith did not disturb even an inch, did not even slacken. His faith was strong, but for future benefit, because there was going to be an appearance of great personality, Madhvacharya, and to uh, make those pastimes happen, make that preaching happen, they waited and they imitated the Shankaracharya's code of conduct, the behavior. And when Madhvacharya took birth, so both Pragya Tirtha and Achyuta Preksha, their heart became full of joy and fearlessness. Then atrocities, what did they do? Kevaladvaitavadis, they set his matha on fire, and they succeeded in destroying many manuscripts preaching Dvaitavad. They took his sannyasa danda and water pot and forced him to apply Kevaladvaitavad Tilaka and chant the mantra Soham. That is me. That is me. I am that. I am that. I am home. And in that way, they did so many atrocities. Then eventually, in the temple of Ananteshwara, what used to happen? Achyuta Preksha, he attended the temple of Lord Ananteshwara at Rajatha Pithapur. And Vasudeva, at the age of 10, he glorified Dvaitavada.
এই যে শংকৰাচাৰ্য যে মুনি তাৰ ফিলচফিটো যে শংকৰাচাৰ্য ফিলচফিটোক মানে ইমান ধুনীয়াকে মধুৰ থাকে মানুহজন ইমান ডাঙৰ.
Okay. So this pastime we are talking about before his sannyasa. So after pleasing Achyuta Preksha, he took sannyasa. So at the age of 10, when Achyuta Preksha used to go to the temple of Ananteshwara, there Rajata Pithapur. So Vasudeva used to, while serving him, he used to glorify the philosophy of Dvaitavada. And getting pleased with him, he awarded him sannyasa, Achyuta Preksha. Now, Sannyasa, Vasudeva's sannyasa name was Ananda Tirtha. Ananda Tirtha or Tatparyaya Madhva. So, Mahabharat Tatparya Nirnay, in Mahabharat Tatparya Nirnay, the explanation of the word Madhva is given. So it is stated that the word Madhu, it means happiness. Madhu means happiness. Madhu also means honey, and it also means happiness. And the letter Va, and the letter Va means knowledge. Okay, and therefore Madhva means Ananda Tirtha or blissful knowledge. Tirtha also means knowledge, and that's why Madhva and Ananda Tirtha, they are both synonymous. So this was the sannyas name of Vasudeva, Ananda Tirtha or Madhvacharya. And after taking sannyasa, he preached vigorously. He acted as an acharya. He went to different places and he defeated a learned logician whose also name was Vasudeva. And he secured victory certificate from him. So before, what used to happen? The great Acharyas or the great Brahmanas who were very much well versed in Vedic scriptures, after learning the Vedic scriptures properly, they used to go, like for example, the king used to go for Digvijayatra. Like different places they will go and they will perform even Ashwamedha sacrifice. So they will leave the horse, and wherever the horse will go, and if that king will take the horse, so that means that the king is not accepting the defeat and he's accepting the challenge from the king, and the king will have the fight with that another king, the another king who is in rivalry, and that fight will go on for many days until the king accepts defeat. So in the similar way, the Brahmanas used to also go outside and they used to preach the message of Godhead in different places, and they used to defeat all the Apasampradaya philosophies and establish their own Vada or Vedanta. And they used to get the victory certificate from them. So even Madhvacharya used to also go outside and used to have many debates with different different sampradayas. There are some mentioned about, I think, 21 sampradayas. It is there. I will tell. So 21 sampradayas he defeated. And in that way, he defeated many staunch Mayavadis, including Vadi Simha and Buddhisagara, who were that time they were very prevalent and very staunch Mayavadis. Now we would be surprised to know that actually Shankaracharya he appeared twice. When Madhvacharya he went to South India and he countered Shankara's philosophy while explaining Vedanta Sutra. So Shankaracharya he appeared first time. He wrote Sharirika Bhashya and like that. And when Madhvacharya went and he was defeating Shankara's philosophy, so Shankaracharya, in the second time, he appeared in the city Kumbhakonam. And this city is in Tamil Nadu. So first time he appeared in Kerala, and second time he appeared in Tamil Nadu, Kumbhakonam. So when Madhvacharya went there, so Shankaracharya also came to that place. That is Rameshwaram. When Madhva went to Rameshwaram and explained Brahma Sutra according to Dvaitavad, Shankaracharya came there and said that without composing his own commentary on Vedanta Sutra, Madhvacharya has no right to preach his philosophy. That's what Shankaracharya challenged him. That you are establishing your own Vedanta, Dvaita Vedanta, but you have not written any commentary on Vedanta Sutra. You have not written any bhashya on Vedanta Sutra and you are enunciating your own philosophy. How come? Then Madhvacharya told him, if you are finding faults, if you think that my philosophy has faults and my philosophy is not proper, then come have debate with me. Chalo, we will discuss and let's see whose philosophy is stronger. So Madhvacharya and Shankaracharya, they had debate, and Madhvacharya gave many strong arguments from Vedic scriptures, and he defeated Shankaracharya at that point of time. And Shankaracharya accepted it. But Madhvacharya understood that if we wanted to preach his philosophy in mass scale and to be accepted by many great scholars of that time, then definitely he has to write. If he wants to establish his own sampradaya and his own philosophy, then he has to write commentary on Vedanta. Shankaracharya, in order to establish his own sampradaya, the Shankara Sampradaya on Vedanta, he wrote Sharirika Bhashya. Sharirika Bhashya is the commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And he explained all the sutras of Vedanta Sutra according to the Mayavad. Okay. And thus, then Madhva, he went to Srirangam. After defeating Shankaracharya in Rameshwaram, he went to Srirangam. And again, he refuted all the unauthorized philosophers. He refuted all the unauthorized philosophers.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Madhu.
Can you just repeat that last part you said? Who wrote the Sharika Bhashya? Shankaracharya, right?
Yes.
Then Madhvacharya also wrote.
Madhvacharya also wrote, no? Madhvacharya also wrote commentary on Vedanta Sutra.
So, what was that called?
His sutra was called Sutra Bhashya or Purna Pragya Bhashya, like that. Different names are there for that Bhashya.
Okay, so when Shankaracharya told him that you have to write your own commentary, then Madhvacharya wrote, is it?
Yes, Mataji. Not before that.
Okay.
Before debating with Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya did not have any commentary on Vedanta Sutra.
So then he wrote that, and that was called Purna Pragya Bhashya.
Purna Pragya
Correct?
Bhashya. Correct.
And then he went to where? After defeating Shankaracharya, he went to
Srirangam.
Srirangam. Okay, thank you.
So then Madhvacharya went to Srirangam, and he was again vigorously he was preaching all the to all the unauthorized philosophers. Then he came to the shore of Payasvani river and he defeated Smarta Brahmanas and Mayavadis and thus became celebrated as Sarvagya Yati. After defeating all these Smartas and Mayavadis, Buddhists, then he became celebrated as Sarvagya Yati. Sarvagya means omniscient or he has all the knowledge. And Yati means sannyasi. Once when what happened, then later on he went to Badrikashram. Then at Badrikashram, he instructed his disciples on his commentary of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, his Bhagavad Gita commentary is called Gita Bhashyam, still available. And when disciples were hearing Gita Bhashyam from Madhvacharya, they saw that an effulgent personality was entering into the mouth of Madhvacharya, who was none other than Vyasadeva himself, empowering him to speak and giving him all the knowledge of Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, Mahabharata, and in that way, Vedanta Sutra. So Vyasadeva, he entered into his mouth so that Madhvacharya, he understood all the conclusions of the Vedic scriptures and was able to impart the knowledge perfectly. So through this incident, we can understand that Madhvacharya was also having blessings of Sri Vyasadeva. Then after that, he went to many places. And back, he returned to Anandamatha from Badrikashram. So then he finished his commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Okay. So after he encountered Shankaracharya, he immediately started writing his commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And after his journey to South India, and while he was preaching he was refuting all the unauthorized sampradayas. So he was also giving the commentary on the sutras of Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra. And when he returned to Ananda Matha, from Badrikashram, when he returned, so he finished his commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And there was a disciple of Madhvacharya. His name was Satyatirtha, who actually acted as the person who wrote down all the explanation which was given by Madhvacharya. And he wrote down his entire commentary. And in that way, Madhva establishes Siddhanta after refuting 21 unauthorized commentaries. So, what are those 21 authorized commentaries? Bharati Vijay, संविदानंद और सच्चिदानंद, ब्रह्मघोष, तानद, उद्वर्त, विजय, रुद्र भट्ट, वामन, यादव प्रकाश, रामानुजाचार्य, भ्रातृ प्रपंच, द्रविड़, ब्रह्मदत्त, भास्कर, पिशाच, वृत्तिकार, विजय भट्ट, विष्णुक्रांत, वादींद्र, माध्वदाशक एंड शंकराचार्य. So he
Prabhu,
defeated.
you said Ramanujacharya also?
Yes, Mataji, yes. So he even refuted Ramanuja's Sampradaya, Ramanuja's philosophy. He also pointed out some flaws in Ramanuja's philosophy. I have not gone into very much details actually what were the flaws, but I have, like, whatever I have heard from senior devotees, that Madhvacharya or his disciples in their lineage, they used to tell the philosophy of Ramanuja to be another form of Shaktasura. You know Shaktasura, who was he in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam? When child Krishna was there on the broken cart, there was the cart, bullock cart. So that he was actually he took the form of that bullock cart. He was an asura, and that's why. And Madhvacharya or his acharyas, who came in his sampradaya, they compare the philosophy of Ramanujacharya with the Shaktasura Mata. So another form of the asura. These things would be like surprisingly to know. Even Ramanujacharya was of course Vaisnava Acharya, but still he found out some flaws, some other maybe flaws. But actually, it's not like every acharya has some mood and like they have some mission to perform. And the other acharya, the one acharya, he actually waits for another acharya that he will find some, maybe like he will clarify the Siddhanta in detail. Even though he would have explained the Siddhanta, but still they allow the future sampradayas, the future acharyas, to explain the Siddhanta in more detailed way. Otherwise, how their glories will be there, how the glories of Madhvacharya would be preached. So in that way, the acharyas are very merciful, and they follow the instructions of whatever mission is given, so they perform and then they leave. I cannot tell fully in detail what were the flaws. For that we have to study Sri Bhashyam and Madhvacharya's Bhashyam on Vedanta Sutra. Then after that, Madhvacharya, he also met two prominent acharyas, Shobhana Bhatta and Swami Shastri, who later became known as Padmanabha Tirtha and Narahari Tirtha. So who also came in the line of Madhva Sampradaya. Then one day after returning to Udupi, after he completed all this Southland Yatra, he returned to Udupi. And Madhvacharya composed 5 chapters of collection of prayers dedicated to Lord Krishna. And while he was going to bathe in the sea, when he was going to take bath in the sea. So on the way, he composed 5 chapters, which glorified the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. It was a collection of the prayers. And when he arrived at the seashore, he saw that there was a boat which was full of merchandise. Merchandise means it was full of goods, different things were being transported. And it was struck in the sand. That huge ship was actually struck in the sand. And despite all other efforts, it was not able to move. The captain, ship's captain name was Maina. And Madhvacharya, when he saw that, he just from a little bit far, he just made some kind of gesture. He did not touch even the ship. He just made some type of gesture with his hands and the boat moved. He is himself Vayudeva, so there is nothing impossible for him. And to everyone's astonishment, as an expression of gratitude, the ship's captain Maina, he requested him to take something from his cargo. So Madhvacharya requested that please give me large piece of Gopi Chandan, which was there from Dwarka. Okay, so that's what he requested from Maina, and that that was the Gopi Chandan he wanted to take from Gopi Sarovara at Dwarka. Okay. Then what happened on the way while he was taking that Gopi Chandan, huge Gopi Chandan, it broke at a place called Bada Bhandeshwar. And within it, he found enchanting deity of Balakrishna, child Krishna. There only he found beautiful deity of Udupi Krishna, Balakrishna. And Udupi Krishna, the deity, on one hand he was holding a grinding stick, and in his another hand he was holding a grinding rope. So after discovering the deity Balakrishna, he composed the 7 chapters, the other, because while he was going to the sea, he composed 5 chapters, okay, composing the prayers to Lord Krishna. And when he discovered the deity of Udupi Krishna, he composed the rest of the 7 chapters, and that is what we call now presently Dvadasha Stotra. So Madhvacharya wrote Dvadasha Stotra prayers, and some beautiful prayers he composed to discuss the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. They are just the beautiful prayers. And thus, Madhvacharya, he installed the deities. So when 30 strongly built men, they were also unable to lift the deity, Balakrishna deity, Madhvacharya effortlessly picked up the deity and bathed him in a large lake at Udupi and installed in the temple. And in order to facilitate the worship of Balakrishna, Madhvacharya awarded sannyasa to 8 senior brahmacharis. And he instructed that the service of Balakrishna would be conducted by 8 sannyasis for a period of 2 years in rotation. So 8 sannyasis are there, and each sannyasi has to do the service for 2 years. Definitely there would be helpers of those sannyasis. And the names of sannyasis of those brahmacharis are, first one is Sri Rishikesha Tirtha. Second, Sri Narahari Tirtha. Third, Sri Janardhan Tirtha, Sri Upendra Tirtha, Sri Vamana Tirtha, Sri Vishnu Tirtha, Sri Rama Tirtha, and Sri Adhokshaja Tirtha. So these are the 8 sannyasis who were given the service of worshipping the Udupi Krishna. Okay. And it was happening in rotation. And still this type of worship is going on. So there are different mathas are there, and the sannyasi, they have that type of responsibility for 2 years each. And their There only their matha will be taking whole in charge of all of the worship, everything they will take for 2 years. So that is their seva, which was appointed by Madhvacharya. Then his younger brother, Madhvacharya's younger brother, his name was Vishnu Tirtha. And Rishikesha Tirtha writes that he is still alive and is performing bhajan at Kumaradhara mountain in province of Subramanya Kshetra. Okay. So this is also in Karnataka only. In Karnataka, there is the mountain, and Rishikesha Tirtha, he writes in his book that Vishnu Tirtha, his younger brother, is still there and is doing his bhajan. Then Madhvacharya's literature, whatever literature Madhvacharya wrote, different Sutra Bhashya and like that. So Srimad Madhvacharya had inscribed all the literature composed by him on copper leaves and buried them at Katatila Kshetra, which is about 50 miles from Udupi Kshetra. And he installed copper deity of Lord Krishna, and the place is known as Vyasatirtha. So 50 miles from Udupi Kshetra, there is this place Vyasatirtha. There he buried all of his literatures in copper leaves. And even today, some people tell that even today, there a snake lives on that altar, which is protecting the literature of Acharya. And it is told that when worshipper, if he humbly prays to the snake and promises to worship the Lord according to prescribed rules and according to the philosophy, the Dvaita Vedanta, if he follows, then only the snake will allow him to touch the literature of Madhvacharya. So what happened when after Madhvacharya left? So when mundane literature again became prominent because of Kali Yuga, then Vishnu Tirtha, disciple of Madhvacharya, he went there and he revived Madhva's teachings. He went there and he studied all the teachings of Madhvacharya and then he preached. Then it is told that in Badrikashram, Madhvacharya personally met Vyasadeva, and he received 8 Shaligram Shilas from Vyasadeva. And after meeting him, after getting knowledge of all the Vedas and Upanishads, he composed Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya. So in Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, apparent contradictions, apparent things which are not being clarified in the Mahabharata. So those things, Madhvacharya is clarifying in his Mahabharata. There are many pastimes. So where there are some like confusion in this part of Parva and the other part of Parva, 2 different stories are there. How to understand the stories and how there is some Mayavad. Apparently, we think, oh, there is some Mayavad. No, there is no Mayavad actually. And different explanations are given for that Sanskrit verse. In these all things, like clarifications for those apparent contradictions are resolved in Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, which himself Madhvacharya learned from Vyasadeva himself when he met him in Badrikashram. So once, even the demigods, all the demigods were surprised and greatly pleased to hear scriptural conclusions presented by Madhvacharya. One day what happened? All the demigods, they appeared in the sky above the Rajata Pithapur and then came in front of the Ananteshwar temple. So Ananteshwar temple is situated in that place only. And at that time, when Madhvacharya was explaining Aitareya Upanishad, is one of the Upanishads. Okay, Aitareya Upanishad is one of the 11 important Upanishads. And when he was explaining his commentary on Aitareya Upanishad to his disciples, demigods were so pleased with him that they showered Parijata flowers and Mandara flowers over him. And while explaining commentary on Aitareya Upanishad on the 9th day of Shukla Paksha in Magha month, Madhvacharya disappeared. Madhvacharya remained in the world and he was visible without, like, he was there in this world for 79 years. And even Rishikesha Tirtha, he writes in his book that there are many personalities, even including Ashwathama, Bali Maharaj, Vyasadeva, Hanuman, Parshuram, Madhvacharya, who will remain in the world until the Vaivasvata Manvantara. So, Vaivasvata Manvantara. So, in the life of Brahma, totally 14 Manvantaras are. And Vaivasvata Manvantara is the 7th Manvantara. Okay. This Manvantara means the reign of the Manu. So in that Vaivasvata Manvantara, in that Manvantara, the all these personalities, Ashwathama, Bali, Maharaj, Vyasa, until the end of Vaivasvata Manvantara, all these personalities will be there. And at the end of this Manvantara, they will return to their spiritual abodes. So it is stated that Madhvacharya is still there, and is doing his bhajan in Badrikash. So those who have like performed so many austerities and they have pleased Madhvacharya and other great personalities, they can go to Badrikashram and maybe if their eyes are purified, they can see the great personalities. And disappearance. So he disappeared, Madhvacharya disappeared from Udupi Kshetra while explaining Aitharya commentary on Aitharya Upanishad on the 9th day of Shukla Paksha in the Magha month in 1317. So what was his appearance year? So that was 1238. Yes, am I correct? 1238 it was. I hope so. Yes, it was 1238 and plus 79 years, it becomes 1378. So 1317, Madhvacharya disappeared in Shukla Paksha. Now, what are his literary contributions? So the prominent contributions are Gita Bhashyam, commentary on Gita, Bhagavad Gita, Sutra Bhashyam or Purna Pragya Bhashyam, commentary on Vedanta Sutra, Anubhashyam is also commentary on Vedanta Sutra, but it is a supplementary commentary on Vedanta Sutra. And Gita Tatparya Nirnay, Tattva Vivek, Tantra Saraha, Sadachara Smriti, then Dvadasha Stotram, which we heard about that, and Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnay, and many more. It is stated that in the life of Madhvacharya wrote more than 32,000 literatures for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. And if anyone who reads this literature will undoubtedly, he will please Lord Krishna. 32,000. He wrote actually, and we don't know how much we can read in this lifetime. He wrote 32,000 literatures, many literatures. But primarily, some literature, they are extinct. We don't find. There are some books. Before also, we were trying to do some research on Madhvacharya's teachings. Then we found that there was some book in that Madhvacharya has written. He has unveiled some very important things, but that book is now extinct. So there are many books which are still there, and we can take benefit of that. We can read, and in that way, in today's class, we just discussed about his biography and about his books, about his disciplic succession. In the next class, we will be discussing further about his disciplic succession in the matters more in detail. Second, we will be discussing the glorious intellect displayed by the Acharyas in the disciplic succession from Sri Madhvacharya. Then how Sri Madhvacharya is the third incarnation of Vayudeva see all the prophecies of Madhvacharya, all the evidences about the appearance of Madhvacharya. We will be discussing about that. And fourth, we'll be discussing about Madhva's Siddhanta regarding Jiva, Prakriti, Ishvara, Lakshmi Devi, many things. And the conclusion regarding Lakshmi and more. And finally, we will be also discussing how come we are coming in the line of Madhvacharya. Why our sampradaya is called Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Vaishnava Sampradaya. So we will try to make the relationship, we'll try to understand how our Gaudiya Vaishnavism is actually related with the Madhva Sampradaya. Okay. So we will be discussing about these things in the next 2-3 classes. So not like tomorrow everything will be over, because it is not possible. If we see this book, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj has written, half book actually is about Madhvacharya, and the rest of the book is about the three acharyas. But half book is dedicated about the life and teachings of Madhvacharya himself. So that's why there is so much to say about him, and that's what we'll be discussing in. We will be discussing the main points. We'll be discussing the like main conclusions which he wrote in his literature. Now, before we conclude, I would just like to share what were the two principles which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took from each sampradaya and incorporated in our own Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya. So, from Ramanuja sampradaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took two things, which are what are they? The concept of unalloyed devotion free from karma and jnana, ananya bhakti, and secondly, service to the devotees, bhakta jana seva. From Madhva Sampradaya, the complete defeat of the Mayavadi philosophy, Kevala Advaita Nirasana. Second, the worship of the deity of Krishna and understanding it to be eternal, Krishna Murti Sevana. Then Nimbarka Swami, from him, the need of taking exclusive shelter of Radhika, Ekanta Radhika Shreya, and the exalted mood of the gopis' love for Sri Krishna, Gopi Bhava. Then from Vishnu Swami of Vallabha Sampradaya, the sentiment of total dependence on Krishna, Tadiya Sarvasva Bhava, and secondly, the path of spontaneous devotional service, Raga Marga. So that also we can see from Vallabha Sampradaya, Pushti Marga system, the path of nourishment. In that they mainly, they also have that path of Raga Marga, attachment, spontaneous devotional service. So these are the two things which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu incorporated in his in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Okay. So this was all for today. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
No questions, but very, very nice presentation. We really enjoyed it today. Looking forward to the second part.
Yeah. Second, yeah, Mataji. So many things are there. Today only I was like I was studying all of these things about Madhvacharya. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj has given so many things, so many teachings of Madhvacharya. And the disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, he has also written another, he has actually translated this book, Life and Teachings of Four Vaishnava Acharyas in Hindi, which I also shared in the WhatsApp group. And he, if you see in that, there is another dedicated chapter wherein he is actually establishing the relationship between Achintya Vedaveda philosophy and Vaita Vedanta. And he's establishing the relationship between our Sampradaya and Madhva Sampradaya. Because Madhvacharya, the Sampradaya who are in Madhva Sampradaya, so they tell that because we are not doing Sandhya Upasana and we are not actually following so many rules and regulations which were given by Madhvacharya himself. And that's why they are telling that you are actually offending Madhvacharya by including his name in your own Sampradaya. How dare you can take his name and you can include in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya? You are not doing Sandhya Upasana, you are not following so many instructions which were given by Madhvacharya. Even sometimes some philosophical teachings are also apparently it is we are finding it contradictory.
Yeah,
So
because they don't accept Radharani, right?
yeah, they don't accept Radharani. So there are many philosophical, like they feel many deviations are there. And they tell because you are not doing many rules and regulations, you are not following the rules and regulations of Madhvacharya. And that's why you will go to hell. You all devotees who are following Gaudiya Vaishnavism, if you are not following Madhva Siddhanta, you are doing Mahapataka. You are doing great sin and you will all go to hell. So that is the viewpoint. And this debate goes on actually, even the Vaishnavas and Madhvacharya people, the Madhvites and Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees, they also have debate about that how come we are actually following Madhva Siddhanta. So anyway, we will be discussing about that. Very nicely, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj has written that commentary and his explanation, and he has properly established how our Gaudiya Vaishnavism is in line with Madhva Sampradaya and how our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is authentic. It is not some another Apasampradaya. No, it is authentic. Yes, Ruchi Singh Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Danvat. Prabhuji, in second slide, you explained that Bhimsen told his brothers that he will appear in Kali Yuga.
Yes.
So, how did that happen? Because that time, to Supreme Person Krishna himself was present. So, how did he got to know? How
Once,
did he know?
what is your
Slide
question?
19.
Actually, yes. So here it is told in Mahabharata Atmanina it is told
Yes.
that Bhima told to other brothers that he would appear after 4,000 years after the beginning of Kali Yuga. Yes. And then he appeared. So what is your question?
Prabhuji, how did he knew that he will appear? How did he told? Because that time Krishna was also present. Krishna.
Acha. Yeah, these all things are said, Mataji, beforehand. These are like the prophecies are already there that Madhvacharya, Ayodhava will appear in the form of Madhvacharya in Kali Yuga. So these all are there in like in the Shastras. But sometimes you are telling why Krishna was there. So what is the problem, Mataji? If Krishna is there, then what is the problem?
No, I was asking how Bhima knew that he will appear. Who
Oh,
told
Bhima,
him?
Mataji,
Yes.
Bhima is servant of Lord and Bhima is himself Vayudeva. And whatever services are there, they are already being assigned to Bhima and to other personalities. So he is direct servant of Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So it would not be there will be no difficulty for him to understand the seva or all the services which he has to perform is already told to him and he knows it. So Krishna would have told him that you have to appear in Kali Yuga also to deliver all the fallen souls like us.
Okay. And Prabhuji, one more thing. Can you put the previous slide?
Previous slide. Yes.
Yes. Here, Prabhuji, you said matlab Hanuman. So Hanuman was the incarnation of Lord Shiva. So how did this happen? I got confused.
Hanuman was incarnation of
Shiva,
what
I think
Shiva?
Lord Shiva.
Acha. Lord Shiva. Yeah. I think there is some description about that also. But it could be that the some part of the expansion or the energy of Lord Shiva or that portion of energy would be there in Hanuman. But the Anjani Sutta Hanuman is actually incarnation or the expansion of Vayudeva, primarily, mainly. But definitely some portion of power or some portion of energy would have been imparted by Lord Shiva in order to perform some mission, like which was there in Treta Yuga Rama. So he helped in the mission of Ramachandra, but definitely it is stated in the Shastras that Hanuman was the expansion of Vayudeva. And Lord Shiva would have his some portion, his energy, portion of some of his energy would have been there in Hanuman. That could be possible. But presently I don't have any evidence about that Lord Shiva is the incarnation of Lord Shiva, or there is some portion of energy. Do you have such evidence, Mataji?
No, Prabhuji, I have heard only.
Yeah, and also one more thing, we have to be careful. Many people tell many different things, that some people tell Hanuman from different and some people tell from different. And different personalities they tell from different. Of course, all the personalities have their blessings upon that personality. But we have to see again what is the authentic source. For example, all the associates of Chaitanya, to reveal their personality, there is a separate book written that is named Gaur Ganodesh Tipika. So in that, all the Swarupa of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are being revealed. That who was who, and then how he was assisting in the pastime of Chaitanya. So Gaur Ganodesh Tipika is an authentic scripture, and then we can accept that. So regarding that, maybe Mataji, I will try to do research if there is some description given, some evidence is there about Hanuman, that there is some portion of energy.
So yes, Prabhu, I've heard that energy of Lord Shiva was transferred to Anjana through Vayudeva.
Through Vayudeva.
So Vayudeva carried the energy of Lord Shiva and passed it to Anjana, because Vayudeva can go everywhere. He can penetrate anything and everything. He is within us also, like life air. So like that. So in that form, he took the energy of Lord Shiva and he gave it to Anjana. That's what Hanumanji was considered as his son also. Vayuputra.
Yes. This could be possible explanation.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any comments? We conclude here. Regarding the appearance and disappearance, every time I see there are so many differences of opinion. Some tell no, this time he appeared, because they actually calculate their date of birth, their year, based on the contemporary Acharyas who happened at that time, and based on the books, based on the literature, based on their descriptions, they try to calculate, they try to conclude, okay, so this time only Madhvacharya appeared. Because Rishikesh Tirtha, he is quoting from Mahabharata that Madhvacharya himself wrote Bhima will appear in after the beginning of Kali Yuga, he will appear after 4,000 years. So based on that, his view of point is that okay, he will appear. He appeared 690 or 700 years ago, and some people have different opinions based on different scriptures of the different personalities. Even while I was studying the different biographies of the Kavis or the poets, then regarding Kalidasa, regarding Bhasa, then Kalhana, and other great poets who happened in history. So among them also there are many calculations. Different historians have different viewpoints, and they have different calculations of the time. That okay, this year maybe that Kavi would have appeared, and this time he would have disappeared. And there are different variations of the story. Sometimes even in that story is there, but you could find at some in some place you will find they believe that such incident happened. But if you go to some other place, then there'll be the same story, but some details in that story would like differ. Some small details will differ from another place. So these things are possible. Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Sri Madhvacharya ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Prabhu.
you.